Did we make up the idea that the heart needs air to breathe? Certainly not. The proof? 1 year after the Chay revelation was received, we discovered more details about the connection between breath and the heart in the New Testament. The Chay prayer revelation has one essential goal: to recover the needed breath of life in our heart, to walk with our fundamental identity with the necessary courage. This idea was new to us in 220 when the entire planet was dealing with the issue of breath, fear, and lockdowns. This revelation developed during this time, and today we are still confirming bits and pieces of it. An excellent example of how breath affects the heart is found in Matthew 24:12. And Jesus said, "And because lawlessness is increased, most people's love will become cold." The phrase "will become cold" is the Greek verb suko. It is similar to the word suke, word for soul, and means to breathe, blow, to make cool, according to the Strong's Concordance. Let us see the exact entry for this word in the Helps Word Studies Dictionary. And it says, to breathe out properly, to blow, refresh with cool air, to breathe cool by blowing, to grow cold, spiritual energy, blighted or chilled by a malignant or poisonous wind. So when Jesus said people's love will become colder, the image we get is of a cold breeze going into the heart, getting it cold. Though it doesn't say the cold breeze gets into the heart, it does imply that the heart is what gets colder. After all, we're talking about love, and love getting colder, and the figure we always use and we understand is that it's the heart that brings this love. And the love of God is put in our hearts. Now, what is this about the heart getting this air cooling down? As the dictionary is saying here in the Helps Word Studies Dictionary, what it's saying is here, is saying that to breathe cool by blowing, to grow cold, and it's saying spiritual energy blighted or chilled by a malignant or poisonous wind. Now, this is something that in the spiritual realm we have experimented, we have seen, we have discerned that in the heart there are different types of breaths, there are different types of airs or winds. Some of people depend on the breath of their husband, or depend on the breath of their wife, or on the breath of their advisor, their coach, their pastor, and they're not breathing depending on God. They're not depending on God. The breathing of their heart is depending on something else and not on the breath of life. So not depending on the breath of life brings in other types of breath in the heart. And these types of breath we've learned through discernment, through revelation, through doing the Chay prayer, ministering to other people, that there are different types of breath. And there's the breath of the world, the breath of man, and the breath of the adversary, the enemy. And we were really surprised by the fact that the heart breathes and that there are different types of breaths. It's an incredible surprise for us that the Greek word suko, which is translated to become colder, is actually talking about breath. It's talking about air in the heart, because it's talking about people's love just getting colder. And this is expressed by a cool air, by a different type of breeze. And according to the dictionary, as I just read to you, it's also it's considered in Greek also as a malignant air. So this is amazing that there is a connection, as we've seen in the spiritual realm. There is a connection displayed in the scriptures that the air and heart are connected. Just like this time, COVID of the pandemic, we see how people who are not getting enough air uh, are having issues with there are issues with their blood, just not getting enough air in their blood, and the blood is well connected with the heart. So it's amazing, these scriptures that bring together air, heart, and also the timing, the context in the pandemia, where we received this revelation. We received this revelation by this time when people, well, all the issues with the masks were happening. People were getting all the COVID and all this. This is when the Lord revealed us the idea, the fact that we need to have a device restored in our heart to be able to breathe, to breathe His life. And now this verse is really presenting something very interesting, because it's saying there's going to be a lot of iniquity, and because of this iniquity, people's heart are just going to grow cold. They're going to get a breeze of air. They're going to start depending on another breath. I also want to note the other part of the verse, well, the second verse, Matthew 24:14, or sorry, Matthew 24:13, that it says, "But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved." So, what's the key is endurance, and endurance is about being able to is having the courage to continue. And we've learned that courage is coming from the heart. And there's a word in Spanish, desaliento, which means not having enough air. And what it means is not having courage. Similar to the phrase or the word that says breathless. I'm breathless. That's being discouraged. Not having the heart to do this. That means discouraged. Now, how do you have a strong heart, a encouraged heart? Is with the breath of Jesus Christ in our heart. Is Him blowing in our heart. I invite you to do the prayers where you will see, or the Lord is going to show you, on what breath are you depending on? Or are there any other breaths in your heart that shouldn't be there? And the idea about the Chai prayer is to recover our dependency on the breath of God. And this can be done step by step. The meditations take you step by step through a process where you will be able to access your heart, and the Lord will be able to show you through your human spirit where your heart is in that sense of breath. What is it breathing? And with this fabulous scripture, you can see that God has revealed this at this time because of the iniquity of the land. And because we need to endure, He wants us to endure to the last day till He comes back. And for this endurance, we do need this encouragement, and we do need this breath. It just not takes to be saved. It just not takes to have our heart saved. It also takes to walk in truth and light of what the Lord wants us to do and have in our heart. And He wants our heart to be encouraged. And for this to happen, I say once again, you need His breath. Our experience has been that when you get this breath back in your heart, your human spirit thrives in it. Your human spirit is encouraged by what is in your heart.